Hey guys, what's up? My name is Cyphrak, and we are on Summer's War. So you may be wondering why I'm starting brand new. By this point, hopefully I have my live stream clips uploaded, so you can see that I do have experience playing, and I'm not completely new to this. But this is on the EU server. My main account's on global. That's what I started out on. And this is going to be a series that I want to do called Road to Summoner, where I play the game completely free to play, but I'm not going to restrict myself. Like, the only restriction is I'm not going to spend money on this account. I'm going to play the account, use what they give me. So if I get Mystical Scroll from Giants, I'm going to summon it. And my goal is going to be to the new patch is going to be starting in 8 minutes. So we have 8 minutes to do this. But the idea is going to be that I'm going to play the game without spending money, and that's it. That's the only stipulation. I don't have to use Nat 2s, Nat 3s. I can use whatever I want. I can farm whatever I want. So other than that, the premise is just, it's gonna be, you know, get as far as we can, which with us not limiting ourselves to using Nat 2s and 3s, I can summon any scroll I get. And right now there is the event going on right now where for however many apps you can get up to, I believe, 130 points a day. We'll pull that up once I can do so. But once we just plop it down. But we're once we can get past like all this tutorial stuff, then we can easily pull up the event. And as you've seen on the screen that popped up, let's click on this. On the screen that popped up was patch notes. They'll be doing a lot of buffing and nerfing. Well, not a lot. Like, some monsters are getting buffed that need to. So, like, Sigmarus, the Fusion Water Phoenix is getting buffed. The Light Water Phoenix is getting buffed. But then monsters like Ganymede, I believe the Wind Fairy King, he is getting nerfed a little bit, where he can't just keep powering himself up, I guess. So we're going to go ahead and just pop all 3 of them with the Water Fairy as our lead because she has the leader skill. And I'm going to be using her. On this, I'm probably going to use the stereotypical main farming team for Giants once I can get the pieces. So we'll be running Veramos, the Dark Ifrit, Darien, the Light Vagabond. That's a light version of the Vagabond you see here. Bella, Shannon, Bernard. Bella's a light Inugami. Bernard is the Wind Griffin, and Shannon is the Wind Pixie. So we're going to be running that team just to be able to farm, which means that I will be doing a lot of farming on this because I know the ideal runes they put on monsters, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to be sticking with them throughout the whole thing, because we're going to be using whatever monster we get. And of course, they make us take these crap runes, so we got to do this. And so once we clear this stage, we will get the... Oh, there's a tip. Once we clear the stage, Garen Force, we will get the Elven Ranger. Okay, go through all this. But once we clear, let's see, once we clear Garen Force that I have highlighted, we'll get the Light Elven Ranger, and then we'll be able to battle in the arena, which is where I have it highlighted to the left, the top left. And then we'll get our first opponent, Greedy. Let's go ahead and click this so we know we can get our mana. Alrighty then, and then we have all these, but I want to go ahead and collect this scroll. So I'm not going to be accepting every challenge, because as you can see, I don't really need to skill up or use the challenges and achievements to rank up, because I'm only level 2 and I still have full energy. Like, I don't want to waste. I want to try to make as much use out of it as I can. So we're going to just keep on grinding through scenario. Level 3 will get auto run, to where they'll automatically go. The only bad thing about it is they may not activate their skills in time, because they have multiple skills. Like Hellhound, you see he has bite, and he bites the enemy, recovers 30% of the inflicted damage as HP. Then his second skill is bite your enemy continuously to inflict great damage. So if I was to auto this, he may not use his second ability, and that can be bad. But for the most part, I like to try to be strong enough to where if they make a mistake, it's not going to be fatal. And if they do make a mistake, then it's something I can adjust by either powering up runes, powering up the monster, evolving the monster, so on and so forth. And as we get into more things, and I will explain. I'm going to be treating this like someone may not know how to play the game. Oh, that is not a bad rune. Let us go ahead and throw that on the Vagabond, because the Vagabond is going to be a really good tank as long as we can keep the runes up to date with him. And what I mean by up to date is, you see this rune has 3 stars. You go to these runes and they're only 1 star. The more stars, the better, because the higher percentage. So this could be instead of +3 defense, a 6-star flat defense rune might have +10. So there's a huge difference. This +6 attack could be +12. So, but as long as we keep his runes like relatively around the level that we are running scenario, then it'll be fine. Normal scenario, the highest star rune you can get is 3-star. So that being said, it would be a pain trying to farm this with just trying to get 3-star runes for him. And I may end up doing it, I may not. Running normal mode isn't so much trying to get good runes. That's normally for hard or hell mode. And I really don't want to spend too much time. I already know I'm going to get an energy set of runes at the Kabir ruins, and so I'm not going to worry about it too much. If I can get a 3-star rune, I will do it, and I'll farm the boss stage a little bit more, because it uses one more energy, which could be beneficial to getting that the one level up. But only that, the boss level has a chance of dropping any rune from slot 1 to 6. It could drop scrolls. It could also drop a monster, where you get a free monster. And if we can get the Water Inugami, which is the boss for the first area, then that would actually be really nice to have once we get Fatal and Blade runes. Now, I kind of skipped through like the tutorial of runes, and for that I do apologize. There are sets where you get a bonus once you complete the set. Okay, please update each other. And we're back. I wasn't paying attention to the time, and so the patch just happened. But first off, let me get into what I was going to talk about for the event. It doesn't look like they have the patch notes here. Wait, here we go. It should be this one. Nope. What else is there? Oh yeah, so this is the patch notes that they were talking about, where monsters are going to be getting buffed. So, for example, what I was talking about was the Fairy King, the Wind and the Light. The skill Ventilate goes from being able to target yourself to targeting allies, but not yourself. And then the Fairy King Light, his skill Light of Judgment decreases the cooldown timer by 1, so instead of taking 6 turns before he can use it again, it goes down to 5, so on and so forth. So, that is that. Then the event that I was talking about was Gather Your Points. And for that, that is where you get runes. So if you see, depending on what star rune you get, depends on how many points you get. So for 1 star, 2 star, and 3 star runes, you get 2 points. 4 star, you get 4. 5 star, you get 6. And 6, you get 8. And then for grindstones and gems, which we're not going to be anywhere near getting, and it's going to take us longer to get them than you know, anything. I'm not going to worry about it, but if you get normal, magic, or rare gemstones or grindstones, you get 4 points. Hero, you get 6. Legend, you get 8. And then you can also get bonus points where if you use a friend or mentor's monster, you get 1 point. You enter the arena, you get 2 points. And then it tells you how many points you've collected today. And I believe the bonus points are based off of this here, yeah. Bonus points is using your friend's monster. And then this is the stuff that we could get. So you can get energy, crystals, energy, mana stones, mystic scrolls, a rare appraisal stone, and mana stones, and then a devil mod. Devil mod's going to be worth it, and the mystical scrolls are going to be worth it. And then if we use 500 crystals, we also get 3 elemental scrolls, 1 of each. So, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and just zap this. And there we go. We are now level 3, so which means that we can auto-run through the scenario. And because of that, well, actually... Hey! We ended up getting a water enugami. Alright! And that's what I was also talking about. But before I get to that, because there's a lot I'm trying to cover, when you go to your monsters and you go to runes, you have all these different kinds of runes that do different abilities. Slots 2, 4, and 6, as you can see on the screen, those can vary. So they could be defense percentage, it could be flat defense, flat attack, flat HP, HP percentage, attack percentage, defense percentage. And then each individual, 2 can get speed, 4 can get crit rate, crit defense, and 6 can get accuracy and resistance. 1, 3, and 5 are always the same. So it's always going to be a flat attack, flat defense, flat HP. Now if we click on the energy runes, for example, and you see next to the X, it says energy 2 set. So you have to have 2 runes to get the set bonus, which tells you right next to the small question mark. And if you click on the question mark, it will tell you where you can get these runes, how many you need to get the set bonus, and what the set bonus is. Okay, now, for drop info about monsters, this is what I was talking about. So, the drop info will tell you the runes you can get, the monsters you can get. So, like, I got the water enugami, and you can get all these other monsters, and then it'll also give you crafting material when you run in hell difficulty. Now, I also want to go over the monster because it didn't. So we got the water enugami. He's a defensive based monster, so that means that his defense is going to be higher than his attack, and there is no like speed type monster. It's typically attack or support that run speed. But then you go to skill, and it will tell you their skills. So right now he has 2 skills. The first one is Scratch. It attacks the enemy with razor sharp claws and decreases their defense for 2 turns with a 50% chance. And then if you skill it up, you can get bonus effect rate and damage. And then his second skill is to team up with an ally to attack an enemy. And that is got one skill up that'll give it a cooldown time. If you awaken it, he gets a new name. The names don't vary per each Water Nugami. Like, it's always going to be Ikaru, I believe, for Water Nugami. For the fire, it's going to be like Rourke, so on and so forth. But he'll get a new skill, which is Counterattack, and that's when he attacks the enemy, and counterattacks when attacked for 1 turn. And then he gets an increase in his basic stats and becomes a special monster. Special monsters have purple stars, purplish pink stars, as you can see on the right picture, and the picture changes slight bit. These here are the requirement essences to awaken said monster, so keep that in mind. And then of course you have the runes. And then we also got just a slime. It's a silver star, or a sandman. It's a silver star monster. They're typically used to feed to power up other monsters. We're just going to hold on to him for right now, because we might need him in the future. So we're going to continue running the forest. And I'm going to be talking quickly about the runes as I get monsters and stuff, because I know what I want to get. And see, this is auto attack, so this is great because I can talk to you guys about plans for what's going to go on with the monsters and stuff. So the fairy is based off of attack power. So running Fatal Blade is pretty common for her. Also running like Swift Energy is also something else. Maybe Swift Focus, because she has a skill once you awaken her that she can put enemies to sleep. The Vagabond, I've already said his is going to be 3 sets of energy runes, so that'll be a plus 45% HP, plus the HP percentage on the runes that I'm going to get, because I'm going to go all HP percentage for them. Oh, and you also get a chest every scenario you clear, so you'll always see a chest open afterwards. Oh, I do not want to replay that. The Hellhound is going to be a little special because he is an attack-based monster, but he does better with speed. That way he can attack multiple times. So for the Hellhound, we're going to go speed. We're going to go speed, crit damage, and attack percentage for his slot order. And when you hear like speed, crit damage, attack, or speed, HP percentage, that's always referring to rune slots 2, 4, and 6. But for the Hellhound, I believe we're going to be running Swift Blade to give him the speed to attack. But we're going to go speed, crit damage, attack, because with Swift runes, I believe it's like a plus 35 or plus 25% speed. And then Blade runes give a plus 15% crit rate. So that would mean that he has a higher chance to do critical damage, which would be phenomenal. But not only that, he's also used for a fusion. I don't have the ability to buy the fusion thing yet, like the fusion, what was it called? It's not the fuse center, it is the fusion hexagram. But I can still show you. So I have the Water Nugami and the Hellhound, the Fire Hellhound, that are fusion pieces. So in the power-up circle, if you hold your finger over their picture without moving it, it'll pop the screen up. It'll tell you I'll show you how many skill ups they have, their skills, everything, their runes, their stats. But then also, if it's a fusion monster, it'll have a fuse button. You push it, or you click on it, and it'll show you the fusion window of what is required to fuse into the higher monster. So for Susanoo, the Water Ninja, it requires the water Hellhound, or the water Inugami, pardon me for messing up, the water Griffin, the wind Bearman, and then the fire Yeti. And then combined, you have to get a couple other monsters to get the water Phoenix, which is totally worth it because he just got patched and now he is buffy as can be. For the Hellhound, he is only used for the water Horus. I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't want to try. But he is used, and they have to be awakened 4-star max. That is the key to the fusion, is they have to be max level. And they have to be 4-star awakened. So it can be pretty tedious, but in the end it's worth it because the monster you get typically is better. The Light Paladin, maybe if she gets buffed a little bit more, might be worth it. But I know that Veramos, the Dark Ifrit, is completely worth it. Sigamaris, the Water Phoenix, just got buffed, so he is, yeah. He's completely worth it. I believe she's worth it as well. She's an attack. And she recovers HP percentage by 30% of the inflicted damage and becomes invincible for 1 turn when the enemy is killed. And so when you use the first skill, the second skill automatically activates. And then the third skill is attacks randomly. The enemy's defense is ignored when used in invincible state. So that would be really good to be able to attack again when you're invincible because you ignore their defense altogether and deal some pretty critical damage. But that's that. So let us get back to what we were doing, where we are. Oh, we're about to fight the boss. So there's always going to be 7 stages. 1 through 6 are the build-up for the boss, and then the boss level. To get the monsters, you don't have to run boss level. You can run the first level, where it only has 2 monsters you have to beat, and you can get the Water Inugami. You can also run the boss level to get any of the runes, like I said previously, that you can run any of the you can run the boss level to get any slot rune for that area. It's random, but sometimes you can actually have better luck doing that, getting a 3-star rune. So I'm not going to run it, or I'm not going to run it to try to get all the runes. I'm going to run this 2 more times after this, just so I can get the challenge. I saw that. I don't want it. We're going to skip the text. Like, this has a storyline to it, and they've added on to it after the game initially released. Ooh, we got the Elven Ranger. It might be nice to have, but I probably won't use them just yet. Okay, got so much text here. I'm just tapping on my cell phone to try to... There we go. And now we have the arena. And so now we can do arena battles, which is great because arena battles... Let me get through all this. Okay, so you have Arena and World Arena. World Arena is where you do RTA, which is real-time arena. You have to select 5 monsters, you and your opponent, and then you ban 1, and then you go from there. But I typically stick with Arena, because you have rivals that you unlock as you level up and complete scenarios, and the rivals always give you glory points and crystals if you beat them. So we're going to battle Greedy, and we're going to... Yeah, we're going to go with this. Actually, what's her ability? Her leader skill increases resistance. Continuous damage. Yeah, we're just gonna go with this. And when I can get me some good runes, I'm going to throw Fatal Blade on the Water Nugami. Their attack percentage, attack percentage, attack percentage. Because even though he's defense, like he's classified as a defensive monster. Okay, so that's saying that there's an arcane tower that can attack us when it gets fully, like the bar gets completely filled. Typically doesn't deal too much damage unless you have like a low level monster like what we have with no runes. But even though the Water Inugami's skill, or its type, says it's defensive, that's its highest stat. Doesn't mean it necessarily, you have to run it as defensive runes. Typically you want to try to go with what the skill says it's based off of. Let me go ahead and get through all this. There. That's very tempting for that offer, but I said I'm not going to spend money. So now we have mount size, and for that we can get the Magic Knight. She's pretty good, actually. She's not the best, because there's 5 elements. I skipped through it. There's wind, water, fire, and there's light and dark. The dark is the best, I believe, with the light close behind because she can be a healer. Then the water is good for farming because she has all AoE attacks. The wind, let's see, you can go to collection. Let's look for her and I'll show you. There we go. So the wind has, I believe, 1 AoE attack, which would be the Blade Surge. And then her second skill attacks a target that isn't granted with any beneficial effects, with 3 magic bullets, and silences the target for 2 turns. Target under silence won't be able to use skills with cooldown. And she attacks the enemy target 2 times and attacks all enemies on the 3rd to inflict damage that's proportionate to the enemy's max HP. And it decreases the attack bar by 30% each. And then the fire one has, I believe, like a branding where they're not allowed to use any skills that are on cooldown. So it's the water one's pretty good for farming, which should be the ideal thing for us because we're gonna probably try to focus on 6-starring a lot of monsters. So let's see. Was I missing anything? Let's go and collect the crystals. It's telling us to set up an arcane tower. We're going to go ahead and do that so that we can get it off the screen. Oh, I have to be level 4 to get that. Well, I'm not level 4. And once we beat the Kabir Ruins, we will be able to go to the Kairos Dungeon. The dungeon is where a lot of people try to focus like end-game, or like mid-game to end-game, because you can get a lot of good stuff there. Like you get a lot of good runes, a lot of good crafting material. Potentially you can get scrolls. You can get essence to awaken monsters. And as you get into the game more and more, and you get some of the better summons, people typically try to go for speed teams to see how fast they can clear a scenario or clear a dungeon. Typically the order people go into is they work on giants first, and then they go to dragons. Once they clear dragons, then they go to Necropolis, because none of it is the same. We'll keep that. Okay, so we got 2 scrolls. She wants to see a summon, so we're gonna go ahead and just summon. Just get the scrolls out of here. Oh, we got a water vagabond. Let's see. Okay, and this is what I also wanted to show, but I forgot about it. So you can see where it says for his skill, swings a giant sword to deal damage and defense. Or, excuse me, let me restart. Swings a giant sword to deal damage and decrease the target's defense for 2 turns with a 40% chance. This attack will deal more damage according to your max HP. So that's what you need to focus on is, if it says like this attack will deal more damage according to your max HP, if you're going to rune the monster to be an attack monster, whether it be tank, a heavy hitter, or a quick attacker, you need to focus on what the attack is based off of. It doesn't. Why is it not? Why am I not able to talk? If it doesn't state something like max HP, like for the Inugami, where it says attacks the enemy with razor sharp claws and increases their defense for 2 turns with 50% chance. If it doesn't say what specifically their attack is based off, then it's just their base attack. So the 109 that you see is what it's based off of. Now where it says a 50% chance, you can increase the likelihood by getting the accuracy up. But other than that, then it's based off of their base attack. So his one skill is based off of max HP, and so is his second. And that is when he attacks the enemy with a humiliating strike, provoking the target with an 80% chance. This attack will deal more damage according to your max HP. So once again, another skill that is based off of max HP. And then when you awaken him, he gets the skill Strong Will, and it's a passive. So when the HP is lower than 30%, the damage you received is reduced by 50%. So he gets a damage reduction when he gets attacked. And that rune, we're actually going to go ahead and throw it on the Inugami. And I want to power it. With the daily bonus, it's actually really nice starting out because, as you see, we had 5,000 mana. And we were able to power up this rune. So let us go ahead. Actually, and we have hard difficulty unlocked, but as you can see, there's 1 4-star level 16, 2 2-star level 16. We are severely outclassed by it. So we're gonna run this 2 more times. I forgot to do that. But we're gonna run this 2 more times. This is one of the 2. Because there's a challenge where you beat the boss 3 times and then you get an unknown scroll. And starting out, an unknown scrolls are going to be perfect for us because it will allow us to build up monsters, potentially get something good, or get us food that we can feed to skill up the monster. So like that Vagabond, the Water Vagabond, I can feed it to my Wind Vagabond here and he can get a skill up. Or if I use him as part of the evolution material, then not only will he evolve to a 3-star, but he'll still get the 1 skill. Wow, that is a rare. And you see it's attack +5, the crit rate +1, that will always stay the same. So if I power this up, it has a chance to power up the attack percentage or the crit damage.